Donald Trump has come and gone from Aurora, Colorado, but Republicans there are expanding Trump's targeting of migrants to now go after nonprofits that help migrants. It's being led by conservative Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky, who kicked off the intense focus on Venezuelan migrants when she claimed without evidence that the thousands of Venezuelans who gathered in Aurora to await election results in Venezuela was actually some kind of a test by a Venezuelan gang. Aurora police have since said that they have identified 10 Venezuelan gang members in Aurora, not thousands of them, but that did not stop Donald Trump from coming to campaign in the city Friday, falsely claiming it had been conquered by that gang. Tonight, Aurora City Council, which has a Republican majority, is going to consider a resolution from Jurinsky that states as fact that the state of Colorado and the city of Denver placed immigrants in Aurora. The resolution then goes on to direct the city manager to investigate whether that's actually true. Jurinsky has claimed, also without evidence, that a leading nonprofit assisting migrants in Aurora is a communist organization. Listen.
This communist group that is along the Colfax corridor, they're called East Colfax Community Collective.
Nonprofit says that's a smear, and a state spokesperson told us today, quote, the state of Colorado did not place migrants in any community. The state says it gave migrant assistance grants to nonprofits, which then helped migrants find housing they could afford. Jurinsky's resolution, if it's approved tonight, directs the city manager to make a list of the nonprofits that help immigrants and to go get their financial records.
I mean, like many nonprofits have had to increase their sense of security at their respective places because since everything has been happening since August, just because of how bad the anti-immigrant sentiment has gotten.
We'll have an update on what happens to this resolution tonight at 9 and 10. I missed something during last week's Donald Trump rally in Aurora. Was standing there, heard it, just wasn't sure if I heard what I thought I heard, so we did not play it back to you here. It seemed that Trump was talking in Aurora about using the U.S. military against Americans that he says hate this country. Listen to what he said.
We have the greatest military in the world, but you have to know how to use them. You have to know how to use them. But I protect you against outside enemies. But you know, I always say we have the outside enemy, so you can say China, you can say Russia, you can say Kim Jong-un, you can say, but that's not, it's going to be fun. If you have a smart president, no problem. It's the enemy from within, all the scum that we have to deal with that hate our country. That's a bigger enemy than China and Russia.
All right, the military thing and the enemy within, like the comments are kind of next to each other, but it's not super clear. Well, over the weekend on Fox, Trump just came out and said what he seemed to be saying in Aurora, that he has a desire to use the U.S. military against American citizens.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
The Harris campaign responded to that, saying that it should, quote, alarm every American who cares about their freedom and security. So ballots for November's election just started arriving over the weekend, and y'all didn't waste time sending us questions. We've got a stack. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger dives in, starting in Denver, with a question from Kaylin about something that seems to be missing.
Hey, Marshall, this is Kaylin in Denver, and I'm wondering why question 6A is missing from our ballots. Thank you.
Kaylin is not the only one who wanted to know why her ballot has the issues that start with the number 2, ballot issue 4A, 7A, but not 6A, which is this question in all caps, asking permission for the city to incur debt to spend money to improve an extended part of downtown Denver. Ballot issue 6A is only for a couple thousand voters within the Downtown Denver Development Authority, which is currently around Union Station and Market Street Station. But if approved, 6A would extend that authority to all the areas within these red lines, basically all of downtown and into a bit of uptown.
This is Mark from Denver. There seems to be a discrepancy with no information in the ballot book regarding 2S, 2T, 2U, 2V, and 2W. along with 308 and 309. Can someone explain why? Thank you.
Mark received Denver's version of the Blue Book, which is only for tax and debt ballot issues. That's why it does not have every ballot question explained. But for those who read the first page, the clerk explains that a separate ballot information booklet is available online at polling centers and by request. That is this booklet. It includes explanations of all the other ballot issues. Why wasn't this sent to all voters, just like the Denver Blue Book? According to the clerk, this decision, quote, will help better steward taxpayer dollars by keeping printing and mailing costs down. At least until Denver voters start requesting these guides, since I have brought your attention to it. Every county will have their own version of the Blue Book. You get the state one. Everyone gets the state one. Each county, Adams County, you'll get your own version for your own county issues and school district issues. Arapahoe, Douglas, wherever there is a tax and debt question, you will get one of these. I'm not sure if every county separates it into two. And raise your hand if you don't read directions to things.
Sure.
Kyle, raise your hand that you knew you were going to get this one or weren't going to get this one unless you asked for it or went online.
Do I remember from your excellent reporting in years past that the Denver informational book does not have to be factual?
It does not, and I believe it's also in the instructions. I don't know, I can't read fast enough. I thought I saw it in one of these where it basically spells out these are voter responses that met a certain deadline.
Like pro-con. People put in pro-con statements.
And all that the clerk's office says it can do is reduce them to the proper length. It doesn't fact check them for if
could be total make-believe. It's just something somebody said. Basically, it's like somebody printed Facebook and they've sent it to voters. All right, very good. Marshall, thank you. Democratic Senator Michael Bennett has come out now as the highest profile opponent of a ballot question backed by some wealthy businessmen that would change the way Colorado's elections work in a pretty significant way. Bennett says that he is a no on Proposition 131, which would move most of Colorado's elections to a ranked choice system. It would also create so-called jungle primaries where all the candidates from every party compete at once and then the top four come out. Both the Colorado Democratic and Republican parties oppose 131. They don't like it. But Colorado's most prominent Democrats mostly back it. Governor Jared Polis is on board. So is Senator John Hickenlooper. The ballot question is the latest attempt to change the elections coming from Kent Theory. You saw him there. He's the former CEO of DaVita. He's given more than $1 million to Colorado Voters First, a group created to campaign in favor of Proposition 131. So Denver's mayor just got a note, a request from City Council. He knew it was coming. They want more money to help businesses along Colfax impacted by the construction of the rapid bus line out Colfax. It's one of 21 recommended changes council would like to make to the mayor's budget. Construction started last week on that $280 million project to build bus-only lanes on Colfax from Civic Center out to I-225 in Aurora. So this project is going to tear up parts of Colfax and close lanes through 2027. The budget has currently less than $1 million in there for small businesses to deal with the impacts of construction. Council wants $1.1 million more added to the Denver Business Impact Opportunity Fund. They'll hash this out, go back and forth. Final budget will be approved next month. When it rains on a burn scar in the high country, the flash flood warnings go out. And as Angeline McCall reports, the drones go up.
What they could once only see with helicopters.
All right, we're gonna.
Is a bird's eye view.
Take it off.
Now, more easily accessible.
We can fly a little bit further in.
Dave Fry is an emergency services specialist with the Larimer County Sheriff's Office.
So we have a good view again, maybe some boulders. Just getting something up in the air, you can see vantage points and you can see things that you can't see from the ground.
Drone specialists are able to see for themselves any risks that might lead to flooding on burn scars, like here, where the Alexander Mountain Fire caused devastation.
And I can zoom in a little bit more. You can see, so that we know there's no water flowing in that creek right now, but that is a choke point. So that might be an area that we could send people in, just make sure that choke point's clear of any debris.
The team looks for other risks like natural dams that may be broken that would otherwise hold water back.
Burn scars flood really because the fire comes through and it's going to take off the vegetation. So all those grasses that would be collecting water, when they're gone, the water's just going to come down.
A bird's eye view, offering more insight.
Having an aerial view will give us a lot of information about what we're seeing on the landscape to try and give us an idea of how bad the flood season is going to be.
And with insight, the hope of more protection for people nearby.
Then we can actually look up and try to see what the water flow is in real time to see if we can get up drainage to give the folks who live down drainage a heads up of what's coming their way.
The drone team also explained that high-intensity fires can cause hydrophobic soil that can create a wax-like effect on the land, meaning that the soil actually repels water instead of absorbing it, which also increases the flood risk after a wildfire.
I guess there's some consolation, Angeline, that like as the risk grows in Colorado with more and more of these really bad burn scars, that technology and strategy is also evolving.
Yeah, I asked Dave, I said, you've been with the sheriff's office for 7 years now. Did you ever imagine that you'd be doing this, when you started? And he's like, no, I never thought that this new technology at that point, it was kind of for hobbyists, right, for drones. And now they're using it in a really official way that could help a lot of people as well.
Angeline McCall, thank you very much. Your word of thanks, microgiving, it really means the world to Colorado's small nonprofits, because these are groups that are trying to stretch every dollar to do good. And that is certainly Rocky Mountain Refuge, a first-of-its-kind nonprofit hospice for the homeless. And that organization now has about $40,000 more to stretch because of your generosity last week. All told, through 227 consecutive weeks of giving, you've raised almost $13.5 million for nonprofits all over our state. Please let me know about the nonprofits that make an impact in your community. Maybe we can help them out. Email your ideas to next@9news.com, or you can text NEXT at 303-871-1491. Months after the lifeline in the middle of Colorado was cut off suddenly, cars are returning to the bridge over Blue Mesa.
It's important that we're not just relying on large companies to take care of us, and that's something that's ingrained in the way that my people live.
It's a new way to eat well that is not new at all. That's next. A bridge between Gunnison and Montrose, the bridge between Gunnison and Montrose is set to open to traffic on Wednesday, just one lane for now. That bridge over Blue Mesa Reservoir closed in April when inspectors found cracks in the steel bridge supports. It forced people to take a 6-hour detour or use a local access road that was only open for a brief window each day. The bridge is one of 2 in Colorado made with a specific type of steel which made it more likely to have those cracks. The bridge opened to emergency vehicles and smaller cars in July. Starting Wednesday, all vehicles will be allowed. Construction continues as they work to try and open both lanes fully before winter. Today marks 4 years since one of Colorado's largest wildfires started burning in Grand County. The East Troublesome Fire burned more than 190,000 acres, killed 2 people, destroyed more than 350 homes. That fall set up really dangerously for wildfires because the monsoon season never really showed up over the summer. We are thankfully in a better spot this year. Mountains got a good amount of rain in August. That's a relief, Kathy Saban, because things were not shaping up very well earlier in the season for us.
And you can understand how people would try to draw comparisons considering we've had this prolonged period of drought, warmth, wind, and just record high temperatures that have trended through summer and now into fall. We are watching a little bit of moisture attempting to come into southwestern Colorado, but it's a system further upstream that will offer us the chance for rain Friday, Saturday, and maybe early on Sunday, and maybe a little bit of mountain snow. We had a little bit of cloud cover out there, a little bit of haze. We're still tracking that wildfire smoke from Wyoming and Utah. Temperatures coming down out of the mid-80s into the mid-70s this hour, so a comfortable evening. Winds are light at the surface out of the east. With a wind shift tomorrow, some of that smoke and haze will stay confined to areas north, but a band of it will cover northeastern Colorado. There are no air quality alerts posted, but Sterling, Fort Morgan, Yuma, Ray, sorry about the air out there tomorrow. We continue warm, windy, and dry with elevated fire danger midweek ahead of a system that could bring frost Tuesday night into Wednesday morning or freeze advisories out on the far eastern plains. All of the moisture in the next 24 hours stays west and south of Denver, but that will be changing. Temperatures will trend into the 60s, and by about 11 o'clock tonight will drop into the 50s by the time you head out to the bus stop or to work or school tomorrow. We have a cooler day tomorrow, but a dry day with that front coming in. 80, windy and warm, and then we have temperatures in the 50s and 60s for Friday and Saturday with actually a chance of rain in Denver.
Parks and Wildlife is getting ready to chop down about 2,700 dead and dying trees in Chatfield State Park. You're thinking, well, what's it going to look like after that? But apparently this is less than 1% of the trees in the park. The dying cottonwoods and willows are in the reservoir, and CPW says they're dangerous to visitors, and the debris from the trees in the reservoir could clog the reservoir's dam outlet. You clog that dam outlet, you got a whole damn mess on your hands. So the removal will start this week, take about 6 months' time. Some of these trees have started to fall over on their own. The trees they pull out will be reused to stabilize streams and to be turned into mulch. Native foods. They're easy to grow, they're good for the environment. Chef wants to teach people how to celebrate them. Over the years, celebrations of Columbus Day have faded a bit, and you see more and more celebrations of Indigenous Peoples Day. A group in Colorado has a pretty delicious way of celebrating.
Today, we're having a celebration for Indigenous Peoples Day. It's been a long time coming that we've been asking for this holiday. Ha, medakyapi, ampetu washde, Sid Whiting inichapi, na sinchahu lakota. Hello, relatives. Have a good day. My name is Sid Whiting. I am Sinchahu Lakota from the Rosebud Sioux Reservation in south central South Dakota. We've brought in about 140 different events in the last few years, and we've approximately served 4,000 people.
I am making the salad right now.
We're using native source beans. We're using a lot of organic ingredients, and we're trying to use a lot of people's traditional foods.
We're just trying to help out the community as much as we can, get people to eat more indigenous foods in the community, and just continue to grow the food system that we're already growing.
Most our people are from all over the country, and when they come to a populated area, a big city like Denver, they lose that cultural connection. So we put out that connection for them to reach out to and raise their children within their culture still. We all come together as Native Americans and Indigenous people throughout this land and celebrate this day as our day. It's really important for us to hold strong on our cultural ways and our ways of being. We're a living, breathing culture, and that's what we want maybe the non-Native people to walk away with after they are a part of our celebration.
A gathering in Wheat Ridge is one of a number across the country today. More than 200 cities have essentially swapped out Columbus Day for Indigenous Peoples Day. We are back with your feedback, delivered by Marissa. Thank you. Next. Kelly asks, is Next going to review ballot issues again this year? That's been very helpful in past years. Kelly, we've gotten through a bunch, more to come. You can find those on the voter guide section of 9news.com. Trish writes, are you a Buddhist? I love how your energy always seems to be protected. I'm not a Buddhist, Trish, but what a lovely thing to say about somebody. Here's an all caps text today. Kyle Clark is a phony, arrogant, hypocritical clown. Maybe that explains it. I'm a phony.